Good morning, gang. Happy Tuesday morning. So here it is. It's August 22nd. Doomsday, right? We're going to talk about three different things here this morning, something a little different. I'm going to put multiple topics in that kind of all work together a little bit. But BRICS, inflation, and unemployment. Okay. So let's start with BRICS. Today is August 22nd. What you've heard from pundits and misinformed YouTubers, let's put it that way, or TikTokers or Twitterati, whatever you want to call them, that today is the day that the US dollar is going to die, that the BRICS nations are going to come up with their new gold-backed currency and it's going to put an end to the US dollar. Not happening. 0% chance. Okay? And I'll give you a little bit of this to start here. People talk like BRICS is some sort of new phenomenon, that this just came about. This is actually starting today, is actually the 15th annual meeting of the BRICS nations. Okay? They've been around since 2008. They were kind of formed in the last debacle that we had economically to get rid of the U.S. dominance in trade in the world. Now, you say, oh, gee, it hasn't been that long. Yeah, okay. It used to be BRIC, all right, and South Africa joined in 2011. So, yeah, that's how long it's been going on. But to give you an idea on this new BRICS currency that everybody's talking about, it's not even on the agenda for the people, for the leaders to talk about. It's not even, okay. I mean, they're not even discussing it. They are so far from coming up with a BRICS currency, it's ridiculous. So don't worry about this yet, okay? They're still working on the whole how to trade amongst themselves. Because the issue that they all have is, sure, Russia's trading with China, or Brazil's trading with China, or India, or something like that. And what they're trying to get away from is trading in dollars. What, as they put it, why should Brazil, do international trade with India and bring a third party in, the U.S., with dollars? Okay, that's the concern they have. The reality is they want to trade in their own currencies. Sure. But tell me this. When's the last time you've seen an Indian rupee or a Brazilian real? Ever? Okay. Imagine being in India and somebody walks into your store and says, well, I've got Brazilian money here. Will you exchange it? They don't have a clue how to exchange that money. It doesn't have any sort of, nobody wants it, okay? Maybe you can take it to the bank, maybe, and hey, a week or so we'll, be able to come up with the exchange. That's the thing. The dollar is accepted worldwide. They're still trying to figure out this whole trade thing, okay? So will they eventually want to get to some sort of uniform currency? Probably. Is it going to happen today, tomorrow, Thursday? Nope. Okay. I want to give you that. So when you're watching these videos or whatever, or hear the media come out today and say, oh my God, today is the end of the dollar, just laugh at them and click the little X, because they're wrong. All right. And you can easily go verify that for yourself. Just do a search for BRICS meeting notes. You'll find stories all over the place saying it ain't happening. And that's straight from their mouths, from Modi's mouth, or Xi Jinping's mouth, or Putin's mouth, that it ain't even on the table. Okay, just saying. And I know somebody's going to say, well, you actually believe them? Whatever. Okay. So let's get on to the next one. Let's talk about inflation. All right. Now, this is actually humorous because apparently, according to the liberal hive mind out there, that inflation is only something that affects conservatives. Okay? I guess if you're liberal, the prices have stayed the same. I'm not kidding here, okay? You guys have heard the story, the song "Rich Men of Richmond," right? Oliver Anthony's song that went viral here a week or so back, and everything like that. And of course, the liberal media is completely up in arms about this whole song. That it is, oh, this man's so misinformed. None of this is true. Yada da da da. Right? Okay, they're bitching up a storm like crazy. To give you this, even on Wikipedia, which we know how reliable and leftist Wikipedia is, right? Okay. Wikipedia has a disclaimer under the description of it that says, this song's lyrics revolve around common right-wing talking points such as inflation. Inflation's a right-wing talking point? Really? That's it? Okay. Inflation affects everybody, whether you're a staunch conservative, whether you're a liberal communist, okay, it doesn't make a difference. You go to the store and the prices went up. There aren't two separate price tags on things. If you're, the blue tag and the red tag. If you're red, a loaf of bread costs $4. If you're blue, a loaf of bread costs $1. It doesn't work that way yet. Okay. But this is how silly it is when they are talking about inflation. They are trying to get everybody to not look at, because it's Joe's biggest downfall. 68% of the American people say the most important issue in the 2024 election is inflation. So the liberals are doing whatever they can to try to mute that story, saying, don't look at that. That's not important. Okay. Inflation up 3.2% is actually down. Okay. I'm sorry. Up is not down. Black is not white, and wet is not dry. You can't do it no matter what. Inflation is up only 3.2% this year. That would be an accurate statement. Inflation is down to 3.2%. That is a spin on how to do it. Okay, inflation is not down by any means. And again, I know everybody's going to say it. Those numbers aren't true. I did a video on that a couple of weeks ago. The actual inflation numbers are about 30%. Okay, so before anybody puts all the comments down there going, those numbers aren't accurate, it's a lie. I get you. Okay, but I got to go off of what the common number is that is generally accepted in the public, in the media, and by liberals, because a lot of times what we're trying to do is get the liberals to wake up. Okay. The funny part is, okay, like I said, inflation doesn't pick a color. Inflation doesn't care if you're black or white. It doesn't care if you're rich or poor. It doesn't care if you're Democrat or Republican, independent or communist or fascist or AOC, a combination of pretty much both of those. But, male, female, genetically, doesn't make a difference. Now, you think it's funny that we talk about inflation all the time. Inflation is the one thing that unites us all. We all have to do this. It doesn't matter. We all have to pay that money, right? Ernest Hemingway, you know him, okay? Wrote a few books, right? Okay. Ernest Hemingway had a quote about 100 years ago. Inflation is the first panacea for a mismanaged nation. I don't know, do we fit that? The second, he added, is war. Anybody get an idea where Biden wants to take us? Okay. Remember this about inflation, okay? Inflation is what destroys countries. I mean, destroys empires, period. Look at Rome. Okay, Rome was destroyed by inflation. There was so much, the Roman currency was so devalued it was worth nothing. Rome collapsed. Okay, that was basically, they couldn't defend themselves. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't eat. They couldn't pay anybody. They couldn't do anything. Rome had no money. Rome's currency was worthless. Rome also is what brings in inflation is what brings in totalitarian regimes. Look at Maoist China. Gee, bringing in a totalitarian regime. We wouldn't think that, maybe Joe likes this inflation, because the Democrats want to be a totalitarian regime. They are doing everything they can to get rid of the competition. 4 indictments against Trump. Trump's supposed to turn himself in tomorrow or Thursday, I guess it is. $200,000 bond. Yeah, big deal. Trump's going to be like, how do you want that? 10s or 20s? But this is their point. They're not trying to stave off inflation, guys. Please understand that inflation is good for a totalitarian regime. That is what they want. Raising interest rates, making it harder and harder and harder for you to make it day to day, right? Okay. Harder it is for you to afford stuff, the harder it is for you to pay your bills, the more expensive it is for you to pay your bills, i.e. interest rates. Raising interest rates hasn't slowed down inflation whatsoever. The fact that people don't have any money left is what's slowing down inflation. Okay. And we get into the last one about people not having any money left, right? We hear all these stories all the time about, there's 7 million
labor shortage.
There's 7 million unfilled jobs out there. Right. We've talked about this many times. That's complete lunacy. There's all the signs up that say now hiring, go in and fill out an application. We'll get back to you. And they never do. They're not filling these jobs. It's all a panacea, trying to pretend that there are jobs out there. There was a interesting story that came out yesterday from the Federal Reserve, okay, which, being a recruiter, this was something I always tracked. What was the wage it was going to take for a person to change jobs? Now, remember a few years ago when all the screaming, we need a $15 minimum wage, we need a $15 minimum wage. Remember that? And pretty much everybody said, yeah, when your Big Mac costs $10, that's what $15 minimum wage is going to get. Okay. Go to McDonald's today and buy a Big Mac meal. Okay. Big Mac, fries, and drink. It'll cost you about $10. Okay. For a freaking little hamburger, because they ain't anything like they used to be, a few fries that inevitably are cold, and some carbonated water. Okay. The Coke costs them maybe 5 cents to pour, but $10. This is what it is. But everybody wanted more money. Well, the Federal Reserve comes up with a figure each year, which is called the reservation wage. Okay. This is what the public, the average person, says it would take for them, a recruiter, a company, whatever it is, to call them up and they'd be interested in changing jobs. Get this. We have now hit nearly $80,000. The average wage that a worker said they'd even consider is $78,645 before they'd consider changing a job. Okay, that's 8% higher than last year. Last year was $72,873. Okay, somebody with a college degree, nearly $100,000. Okay, they now expect at least $98,600. Somebody who's just got a high school education expects $63,300. to even consider it, okay? Which means that's the bottom. So you figure somebody with a college degree, hey, I've got my degree in African American homosexual studies. I want $100,000 to come. I don't have any skills, but I need $100,000. I flip burgers at McDonald's. I want $15 an hour. Now they want 20. Okay. Companies supposedly need workers. Though I can tell you this, I know people looking for work who've been looking for work all year, all summer. Can't find jobs, okay? And the jobs that they are being considered for ain't paying near $98,000. And I'm talking about experienced, skilled people that aren't finding $98,000. They jump through hoops for a $98,000 job. I know some people without a high school degree who are looking for, or without a college degree, who are looking for jobs. They kill for 63.3. Okay, I'm just saying. This is how brainwashed people are. Oh, I'll get paid more money, but that's not going to drive the prices up at the store. If this is what people want, okay, if this is what the average public wants, you can expect inflation to keep going higher. So let's add all this stuff up. What you can expect in the stores here in the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months. Okay. The Panama Canal is basically inoperable or barely operable right now. So that's going to cause problems. Less goods on the shelf, prices go up. The employees want more wages. The company's got to get the money for that somehow. So the prices go up. Interest rates are high. Okay. We can't do anything. We can't ship anything because, oh my God, we can't use gasoline. We can't pump our own gasoline. Okay. So the gas prices go up. The supply goes down. Joe's going to have a real interesting 2024 because inflation is down to 3.2%. What's he going to say next year when his official numbers, the ones we know that are bullshit, is inflation's at 6% again. Unemployment is at 6% again. How many companies, how many of you have told me about layoffs in your local areas? How many companies have I listed here on the channel that are laying off people? The whole intent, and this goes back to what I said before, is to make us a totalitarian society. If everybody's unemployed, the only way anybody gets money is by UBI, Universal Basic Income. The government will pay you. The question is, where does the government get the money if nobody is producing anything? If our GDP is zero? Okay? We're not producing any goods and services. Money's got to come from somewhere. If the Federal Reserve just keeps printing money, then the rest of the world sees the dollar as useless, and that ushers BRICS in a lot faster than they expected. This is the thing. The United States is quickly becoming Rome or Maoist China under this administration, and most of the country is too blind to see it. After all, reality is just a right-wing talking point too, right? Pinball out.